like pending deals,
Yeah.
accepted offer with subject removal dates. And then if you want to be notified, you could click on something and then they would notify you as soon as it sells or as soon as the offer doesn't go through.
Yeah. It makes too much sense. That's why it's never going to happen.
It's not run by the government.
Right. They're going to have a few meetings, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just saying, is that a beer, Nick? Is that a shandy?
I can't hear you guys.
It's just some juice. I could throw some beer in it if you want, start the Monday off right.
Yeah.
We can hear you, Blanche, but I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe your audio on your computer or phone.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Well, some of you, I think when they were talking, it sounds like they're static.
You might try logging out and then logging back in. If
I can hear you fine. What about just now who was talking? Maybe they can try talking and see.
It might be me.
Yeah.
I'm using my laptop mic, so maybe that's what the issue is.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
All good. Cool. How's everybody's weekend otherwise? You having a... I was kidding. I'm like orange juice. I was gonna say, is that a mimosa, Nick?
Yeah, I thought it was a shandy.
I can't have a drink on here. Come on.
Let's start some rumors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, the weekend felt very busy. Yeah, it's always like, I'm hearing that the market's slowing down, and I do see it in some listings. The ones that keep calling and saying, hey, offers are tomorrow, and I guess are getting crickets. So the lower half of the listing, I feel like, are not getting those multiple offers that they're hoping for. And again, some people are way overpriced. But the top ones that we always write on, because buyers always write on the top ones, and they're competing for the same ones every week, they're still getting 5 to 8 offers, I think.
Yeah, it's becoming a beauty contest again too, right? Like before, like 2 months ago, you could throw Dog's Breakfast on the market and it would have a lineup of buyers that were writing way over asking, inspection free. Now people are not doing that. Like, you really do need to be shiny in order to get that activity. So I think there's still another few weeks of that, where if you're shiny, you'll still have that volume of buyers and offers. And then it feels like that'll be the top end really settling too, right? So enjoy as a buyer's agent, having some time, maybe put a subject in, not having to rush over there 4 hours after you get the message.
Yeah, and seeing less is subject free, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think everyone knows about the ones that didn't go through because they didn't have subjects on it. It's mainly the appraisal that's killing these financing situations. And so that's the word's getting around. So a lot of realtors are getting smart about it. Yeah. Gone are the days that we used to see 20 offers or 25 offers.
Yeah, thankfully. For either side of that too, right? Even when you thought you listed it at a proper price, you still got it. I think we're at the point now that you guys are going to have a better quality of life. That also means it's an opportunity to go and pick up some new business that people are going to maybe, the agents that have been working their asses off that haven't had a day off, and, some of the more seasoned people that feel that they've got a handle on their business won't be doing their follow-up right now, will be missing out on opportunities because they're like, whew, a day off. What can I do to catch up or whatever? And you go out there and take clients off of their plate that all they had to do is make that extra call, but now you're out there hustling, taking business away from them. Yeah. So that's where new agents can really thrive in the next few months here as this market transitions and not everybody's aware of what we're moving from this strong sellers market into more balance. That getting your buyers out there, being aggressive, following up with them, you're going to get deals together. They're going to come quite easily all of a sudden. Like these buyers will just like connect with properties, and it'll be short. Like it will only be in this for a month or two of this transition. Then everyone else will catch up. The media will catch up, and then it'll just be dead and back to whatever new market we're into. But I don't think it'll be buyer's market necessarily, but there'll just be more of a standard sort of time for offers and as they come in, right? So we're seeing a lot less of those DRPOs, which is nice. So that is good. You see an offer, you see a property, write an offer on it. Just go. Yeah.
Like for sure, this is going to make us better realtors. It's like time management is much better. If you're a listing agent, you probably notice that everyone's on time or before. You know, Touch Base is a better system because of all this, like this rush in COVID. Yeah, there's good systems, and all the realtors are going to be better.
Yeah, there's definitely organization in even like individual businesses that were forced into it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, just touching on that, I think even like back in 2016 and stuff, you know, there was a lot of madness in the market, but I think there's a lot of good stuff that came out of it for us as realtors.
Yeah.
You know, just like the dual agency thing, right? I mean, now there's, you know, it's sort of, there's no gray areas, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
True. Anyone have any wins or ahas over the weekend? Any listing appointments, offers going out, accepted offers?
I got my first accepted offer.
Hey.
Congrats.
Nice.
On listing or buy?
Buying. Buyers.
Cool. What'd you buy?
A fucking grow up.
Did it come with any hardware? Or?
We don't.
Still operating?
What are you charging for? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
So we actually never got to see it, have a viewing yet. They wouldn't let us view the property without putting in an offer first.
Sure.
So we're seeing we have an accepted offer with obviously lots of subjects, and we're seeing it on Tuesday. So I'm bringing Lynn and Nick. I'm like, come on, man, don't make me do this alone.
Cool.
So yeah, it's tenanted. Obviously, so that's a bit intimidating. And we had somebody look over the lease, and the lease has a lot of holes. So I'm not really sure.
Month?
It is month to month, but he's paying like $5,000 a month in rent, covering all the.
Bill?
Yeah, he's paying his own bill, the electricity bill. So it seems great, but apparently the lease has a lot of holes. So
if it's month to month, you can still get them out. That's the thing.
Can you so? Yeah. No, it's not month to month. No, I apologize. It's a lease. It's till June or till June 2023. So he's okay with that. He likes the money. He wants the tenant, but apparently the lease has a lot of holes in it. And so we're just recommending him see a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easy to rewrite a lease? Do you know anything about that? Like, if it's not easy.
Not easy. No, a lease is a lease is a lease. No one can break it. You have to get some sort of agreement from the tenant.
Yeah.
Easiest way is to have like a two-way, like it's got to be beneficial for both the tenant and the landlord.
Yeah.
In order for them to agree to it. Do you know any specific holes that you found on the lease that you want to change?
So within the Lynn and Nick team, we have a broker that we work with, and he has a coworker or a friend that's a rental agent. And the biggest concern is it doesn't seem like that he's protected, that he has to pay. Oh, like there's a couple contradictory lines in there where it says like it's only a 2-page lease, and he said a commercial lease should be like 25 pages.
Oh, wait, it's a legal grow up?
It's a legal grow up, apparently.
Oh, I thought we were talking.
Oh, it's commercial. Yeah. Just go to a lawyer.
Yeah.
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 It's illegal. It's a legal grow up, supposedly.
That's
But
5,000 a month. I was yapping on that. So yeah, you definitely want to get in front of a commercial lawyer. There's a lot of moving parts to that. He's buying the business, the operation. What's the? I mean, Jesus, what's the yield? Whatever, right? Like all this stuff needs to be understood. The 5,000 a month is great, but
do they have the certificate from Health Canada saying that they're a legal grow up as well?
so
Yeah.
these are the things that we've got to look into because he hasn't supplied that.
Yeah, well, produce that, or you're buying a illegal grow op, and well, that's not worth jack. So, yeah, interesting. I'm not.
They might say something like, "Oh yeah, it's like got everything to be a legal grow up. We just need our licensing or something like that." But
We've been
right
running.
back when I used to work for Canopy Growth, so I I know about weed.
Okay, well, tell me some other things, if you guys don't mind me picking his brain for a moment about what I should be looking for.
This is your basics, like
The certificate.
they got the license from Health Canada. Otherwise, it's not licensed. So that's
Okay.
your basics.
Okay. You know what? If you're gonna start off, this is the way to do it, right? You want to have a couple bumps in the road so that it's been a good learning curve.
I think more agents have a wild, random first deal than not. Most agents don't just go buy a standard condo. They buy a foreclosure or a trailer without a CSE or like something. I swear, it's every story is usually the same. It's like confusing as F because no one else wants to touch it, and the new guy's like, "I'll take the deal," and then it just is like a hand grenade without a pin. And you're like, "Sweet, let's have fun with it." So you're gonna learn, and then you're gonna do some other deals that are smooth. And like, oh, that was much easier. So enjoy. It's all learning, and like we learn from this stuff too, right? Like now everybody else on the call knows to ask more about, and then it's technically a commercial deal too, right? So already you're in uncharted waters in a residential brokerage. So you only get so much help from our brokers with commercial because they aren't as skilled with it, to be fair. So you're muted if you're talking, Allison.
Sorry about that. I rang Carol over the weekend and she kind of helped me with a waiver.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, since we've had this guy look at this residential guy look at the lease, it's just a bit more worrisome because I don't want him to be stiffed. It's a great family,
Yeah, no, you want to take care of them and also make sure that they're protected and the deal goes through the right way, and good advice too, right? So yeah, cool. Well, good luck. Keep us in the loop.
Yes.
Bring us some samples.
Right. Tuesday.
Yeah. Just go in there, fill in your purse. This is wrong. Never mind. I'm done. Anyway, cool. Well, let's get rolling. So everybody signed up for Ignite?
Yep.
If you didn't, it's super easy. They sent out a link last week. Dylan, I know that he was asking about it, but if you're having trouble, just email Ron or Carla or something and they'll get you the link. Unless Amin or H, you have one, you want to just stick in the chat. I don't know if I have one readily available, but so Ignite is very important foundational education for you guys for your business. So please take it. Like, I'm not telling you it's the most important thing to do with your business this month. I'm asking you to take this to make sure you stay in your business. Like, this is the difference between learning how to run a business from a overall understanding of every facet of a real estate residential business. You're not going to learn better from anyone else. You're not going to learn better from us. You're not going to learn better from people even teaching it in the brokerage. This is going to be high level stuff from KW International. So spend time taking it seriously and you'll get what you put into it. I know that people are in there asking like, hey, make calls do these things during the actual Ignite, and you'll actually take listings and get buyers and like connect to your database and learn new scripts. So all this stuff is important. You're gonna come out of there with at least a bachelor's in how to run a real estate business. So hope you guys can make time for it. It's 8:30 to 11:30. Different calendar days. I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, and then it jumps to different days next week. So have fun with it, and then we'll basically just check in throughout. But this will be the last class until that. Okay, just so you guys aren't overwhelmed with content throughout the next month. So
I just posted the link to register on the chat box, and the calendar's there too. So it starts tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. and it goes all the way to June 3rd.
awesome. Thanks, dude.
Hey, very quick question off the top of my head. I can't remember. What's our market center?
833.
833?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, man. There you go. Should be good. I'm more than happy to share that I'm in real estate still to this day because I took Ignite. I'm sure of that, and having a coach. So I firmly believe that I wouldn't have succeeded, or very likely wouldn't have been in the business still after the second year had I not taken Ignite, just because of it just taught me how to run it like a business and the foundational stuff that's just very, very important. So I hope you guys get a lot from it. Let us know. We'll check in anyway. Yeah, that's about us for now. What we got? Any other questions or wins for the weekend? Allison got an accepted offer. Anybody else? Any ahas? Nothing out of David? Come on, man.
No, I'm not going to jinx myself because I got like 5 things on the burner right now, so I'm not saying a single word.
Good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, the wife's getting a treat if all of her hard work at her workplace is panning out this week. So that is all.
It's all coming from her business too, eh?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
She thinks she's getting her own referral check of herself holding the referral check. And I go, it doesn't work that way, babe. But
well, it's funny. My wife thinks almost exactly the same, where she sends me a referral. I'm like, yeah, that's called the mortgage. But she's like, no, that's a purse referral. I'm like, no, mortgage. But it's all relative. They see it, and you can see how, I'm not sure if you guys remember, like Jordan McNabb was chatting on here ago, and he's like, I think his wife just had an aha about how much when they post and do videos and share stuff online on social media, he gets business from it naturally. So she's like, okay, green light, like put our family out there. It makes you a lot of money, so it's hard to say no. And then it's funny, like Josh Bath, his wife was like a real, well, I mean, now they're separated, but I remember her just like clicking in, and she's not salesy at all, but they just start to recognize that, like, okay, if I'm out there hustling in the streets, talking to people for my husband, it comes back to us. And creating refers out of your family members, out of your wives or husbands or brothers, sisters, best friends, whomever, is the best use of your time. Like having a network of 10 people that were out there every day promoting you, bringing you back potential business. And I'm okay if you guys break them off or buy them a damn purse, whatever you do. But point being, what an easy business to be in if you had, 5 to 10 people that consistently sent you a referral every month. So how do you create that?
The one aha that did come out of this, and here's a short story. The lady that I'm working as the buying side for currently, she sent me the name of a friend. Sounds like she's going through a divorce. They just sold a couple properties. The husband had his own person. She's not going to deal with that realtor, which is fine. And then we're getting caught up today for particulars of where she wants and stuff. And then when the wife went to work this morning, she's like, hey, so-and-so, thanks for passing on the name of that person to David. Really appreciate it. Because, you know, that'd be great. Because if it turns into a buy or a sell, it's a $500 referral fee. And she literally pulled her mask down and goes, what? And my wife goes, yeah, like if you're referring somebody and it turns into a business for David, it's $500 cash for you, just like the other lady at work got the big check type thing. And she's like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? She goes, I get $500? And she was very excited because $500 would be a great little bonus for her for the week.
Yeah.
Yet after X many comments or talks through day in, day out of workplace, this person that knows everything about what Amanda and I are doing and the hustle and whatever, she didn't know that a referral was going to get her $500 cash. I go, so don't ever assume that just because you've put out your message or your story to your friends or coworkers or whatever, that they're going to remember. I think Jordan said it best a few weeks ago he goes, all my friends are dumb and I need to constantly remind them that I'm a real estate agent.
Yeah. That's one way of putting it. I think they're busy, and just like anything else in this world, if you're not constantly in front of them, they got another shiny 50 objects, and you just have to be in people's face. And like, use any example, plumber, mechanic, whatever, unless you're like being reminded of that person, like who's off the top of their head able to just pull off a financial advisor right now, go. It's just not the tip of your tongue, right? Well, maybe because you guys connected recently, but otherwise, right. So that's a good financial advisor. You should probably have lunch with them and be more, because they obviously know the game. So anyway, that's cool. And so the cool part is she did it without even thinking about the money. She did it because she wanted to help out. And so that's just like a bonus. And however it gets your name in front of people and you get in those conversations and sit downs is what matters. So good, man. Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great little, yeah. Well, it's a great little side hustle with your wife's work, right? Like this is the opportunities that we all have in front of us. If we just look around our sphere, everyone has like 4 or 5 people that are really close to them. Are they helping you build your business? And do they know how to?
And that's the thing, like in her workplace, it's the Save on Maple Ridge, and there are probably connections to 2 or 3 other real estate agents via a spouse in the building. And yeah, the number of people that have said to Amanda, they're like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, my mom and dad are going to reach out to David this year. And I'm like, you know what? Like, and it's kudos to her because she talks even more than I do, believe it or not. But she's likable enough that the people that are friends with her and trust her, and I'm in there every couple of days to groceries or bring her coffee, and they're like, hey, and then the conversations just chat. Like I could almost hang out there an hour every day for business, but that'd be creepy.
Yeah. She's like, dude, I see you at home all day. Get away from my work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can ride that ladder all the way to the top and sell Jim Patterson's house.
Right.
He doesn't know any agent. Cool. Well, let's get into the game here today. How are we looking, coaches?
Really good. If like in one of the family reunion conferences I went to, one of my takeaways is that you always have to work on objection handlers. If you're going to be scripting, like use half of that time doing objection handlers, because the way you handle the objections is going to determine whether you get the listing or close the buyer or seller.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else could be fluff, but the objection is, you know, we only hear a handful, maybe a dozen at the most of the same objections, but people think they're clever and this is their objection. So the better you handle it, the better you cater to it, the more successful you're going to be and the higher ratios you're going to close. So in that regard, I think today is one of the most important classes.
For sure. Yeah. And it's true. Like you're only going to get a dozen or so. And if you can master those, every single part of this business gets easier because it's an open house. It's, I'm not going to give you my contact info. I'm not like, it's the same thing of commission at a listing. Like you're only going to run into a few different options. If you can handle it, then you're closing the deals. Yeah, you want to know how to do your listing presentation perfectly, but you're not even get to the listing presentation if you haven't handled the objection to ask and set it, right? So I agree that objection handling and it's really being able to think on your feet. And that gives you the most confidence of all, is being able to stand in front of people out in open or meeting them in the grocery store or whatever, and being able to think on your feet and react in the moment versus going through your presentation, you went over there, you're prepared, you're poised, and you're in your zone. But these objections come from anywhere at any time. And if you can like field that from on the phone in front of people, whatever, then you're going to be a much stronger agent, and it'll increase your sales, it'll increase your appointments, everything will go through the roof just by objection. So that's a good point, bud.
One thing that would really help us, like, a couple weeks ago, we used to get like 24 people in here, up to 30, and then we noticed that it's dropped off in the last little while. If there's anything that would help us improve the class or anything that you want to see that we haven't presented, please do tell us, because we want to grow this community up to 20, 25 again. So for whatever reason, people are bouncing off, but we want to get some feedback and some critiques about how we can better serve you.
Lynn told me today that she's not allowed to come anymore because her 3 months is up.
That's not a thing.
Oh, she thinks that. So just so you know. So that's why Lynn and Nick aren't here.
Oh, what?
She said that she only gets to come to these classes for 3 months. That's part of the training, the contract she signed or something.
Okay, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I think that Nick has a few things going on this morning, but Lynn isn't here for that reason because she.
Oh no! Well, reach out to her right away and welcome her, because that's not accurate at all. This is, I don't want you coming for 2 years. If you're still here 2 years from now, you should be teaching it. And if you're still like at that point, then right. And David may, just because he just loves us, but at the end of the day, it's not in your best use to be spending 2 hours in your mornings if you've been through this 3, 4, 5 times. Like I'd say come a couple times so you get the confidence of this stuff. And there's accountability here for sure, which we do want you to continue. But once you've capped and you've done this a couple times, like keep moving and look for new education. You might spend the same kind of time in your week training and educating yourself in maybe masterminds with Josh or some of the other content on the calendar that you guys want to go to. But
you're allowed to be in coaching. She goes, really? I said, yes, they were just wondering about the numbers.
I have no idea how she got that, but when she joins, I'll ask her. That's interesting. And anyway, hopefully that is not. Did anyone else feel that was in the contract that way?
She's coming.
No. I think one suggestion I would make is, you've got it preset for, I think it's like a 12-week program or a 15-week program. If you could have at the beginning, like I know you mentioned that, okay, it's, just sold, just listed, but just say, hey, it's week 7 of 14. Just so people know, like I know there's some weeks that I've missed and some weeks where we couldn't be there. So we know that, hey, if we ever miss this one, I know that they're all being recorded, but it's nice to be interactive on those ones. And we kind of have we can kind of gauge where we are along the pathway, right?
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Nikki, one thing we have started to do is just label the calendar with what the class is. So I don't know if that kind of helps what you're looking for.
No, it does. It tells you what the subject matter is going to be that week. But just so we know that we're now in week 6 of this program,
like
hey, I've already done the first 6 weeks, or I've done the first 7 weeks. It kind of helps you plan it out a bit better as well. For us, like we know if we could take a meeting or maybe miss a class and make it up on the recording or so.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, we can do that easy enough, eh? That's just class 4 of 12, whatever. Got it.
Here she comes.
All right.
Now we can give her grief because she's late.
Lynn, we missed you. What happened?
I thought we were done. I thought we had 3 months and we're kicked out. So
no, for one thing, you're not kicked out of anything ever of Keller. Like that's not a thing. Where like you can go to anything, and unless it's like invite only or something, for whatever reason. But by no means, and I was just saying, like, you should probably budget to come here a couple times, cycle through this, because you miss some, like Mick is saying, so you're not always on every week, and you don't pick up everything the first time anyways. And honestly, we're different teachers, you're different people every class. So you'll definitely get, you know, a lot, I hope, out of a few rounds of this. And then eventually you probably say, okay, I've kind of mastered the basics of all this. And now I want to work towards some, you know, specifics, and then go to some other classes every week that'll make more sense for where you want to go and what level type of business you want to be in. So yeah.
Perfect.
Anyway, sorry for the confusion. Welcome.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So real quick, we're obviously wanting to help build our business, and you know, this brokerage is all about win-win, and how we help you build your downline helps us build our business. So if you guys understand, when Hiroshi and when Amin, actually, he was the first of us to be at KW, most months weren't profitable, right? Like you didn't always see profit share every month. And, you know, we were a small business, still like robust as far as international, but we weren't really big in the Tri-Cities or anything yet, or even into Surrey. I think we hadn't really shown profit every month. And people were still recruiting and maybe getting like a, you know, $100 here or there profit share, which is like nice. But now we profit every month, and we profit substantial amounts of money and give it back to our agents. There's like insane amount of money that's available to you to get from just helping other people. And like, I'm not telling you to go out and recruit or do what Ron does, but if you see someone out there in the streets that's a agent that is struggling, maybe not getting good education at their brokerage, you guys know, Lynn and Nick, you have stories, I'm sure, of other agents or other brokerages, and just offering, and you're actually doing it right now. You're doing a good job of just offering a lifeline to people. And this is like someone you think is a nice person that's just not getting supported at their brokerage and would value this type of education or whatever Josh is offering, or the social media stuff you've seen, like all that's free to them, not to mention Ignite and all this extra stuff, which is free, right? Just tell them about it. That's all it is. And then say, hey, maybe Ron can have a connection with them, and then Ron will do the heavy lifting. You guys you're out there in the streets, you're running into people that you know could use some support. If you don't offer it to them, they'll be out of the business in 2 years. They'll be a statistic. That's the thing. So do your part. You know, when you're doing your allied or so your applied practices, if you're quite new, if you've just going into these classes and you go into breakouts, like ask them, get their contact info, and just send them a link to Ignite and say, hey, this is available, or anyone else you have at other brokerages right now. You can just forward that Ignite flyer and say, this is what we're doing this month. You guys should join in. It's really helpful to help you build some foundational skills for your business. And that's free to you. Oh, you got a sticker? It's a rainbow. Okay, thanks, Dad. So the point being is that you help them out. They join KW, hopefully. They start to transact, and you literally get money. And someone who's a capper, that's like $4,000 a month or a year. Sorry. So that's like, you know, you put 10 people into your downline that are cappers. That's like a decent little side business, and all it is just helping people. You're not doing anything. Obviously, you want to support them when they join and be a part of that. But you know, they're only good people that you're going to put in here anyways, and we grow naturally with the right kind of people. So I hope you guys think about that in a way of not being pushy or trying to like recruit. It's just literally when you're out there in the streets and you find someone who has a shitty contract, you're like, who helped you do this? Like, well, we can offer you, come to Carol's class. It's free. They don't even have to be part of it, or whatever you see opportunities to make people's lives easier. It will pay off for you. And again, not necessarily doing it for the money and doing it for the right reasons, but there is definitely a bonus. And we used to do it without even getting the money, and now we're starting to see profit share, which is a legit thing. Every month you should be seeing, you know, a couple $1,000 if you're just doing this passively. So anyone want a couple $1,000 this month? Free money, not doing anything? Okay, well, when you're meeting people in the streets, other agents, talking to them, just pass their name to Ron and just say, hey, this is the conversation we had. I thought they'd be a great fit, and then leave it at that. Maybe follow up with them if you want to be more purposeful, but. So.
Yeah, and just to jump on that, it's a lot easier today than it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Like, people know what Keller Williams is now. They had no idea back then. It was like Sherman Williams. Like, who are you?
Yeah, we don't sell any paint, do we?
Yeah.
No, just red paint. Just a lot of red paint.
Yeah.
People would call our office and they'd be like, "Is Keller there?"
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I got called Keller.
Yeah.
How's it going, Keller?
So that being said, it is just a simple business model for you guys. So anyone who likes, is entrepreneurial, thinking about this in a way that, how many people could you put in your downline? Well, here's the thing. How many people do you need in your database in order to transact, right? So how many people do you need to talk to every day in order to do a deal? So how many agents do you need to talk to in order to put someone in your downline? It's a lot less than people, and it's passive and it's willable. And it's just like they grow. And then if they recruit someone, you get a piece of theirs too. Like, this is genuine money that shows up for really just helping people out. So I think I've hit the nail on the head. I'll let it go for now. But I truly believe that if you guys want to invite them to this, like, Ron and ourselves will help you guys close them and bring them to KW. And it's a no-brainer once they come in here and feel the love anyway, but they just don't know about it. And some people push back and talk about Kool-Aid and all that kind of stuff, but they just don't understand it, right? Or a pyramid scheme. So those are some of the things you're just like, no, don't try and explain it. Don't try to tell them about profit share. It's just, you'll figure it out once you start getting checks. So we're talking do not call list, we're talking about telelisting. Everyone has access. This is free to you through the brokerage. Okay. Everyone has it. Telelisting.net. Good. If you don't have it, let me know. It's very easy. Just talk to Carla. You should have a link. Just email her. So we log in. Anyone done any cold calling lately? Anyone looked up expireds using telelisting? Has anyone used this?
Yeah, I've used telelisting before. Not too much luck with expireds, for sure, but just when I want to cold call a neighborhood.
Yeah. So you can all see how simple it is. For me, I'll just say go to.
Can you zoom in on your
screen?
Yeah. So yeah, when you do expired listings, I find it's like 1 in 20 if you're lucky. There's very few listings. You're better off going to the actual house and knocking on it. But if you do have a listing coming up or a recent sale, or you want to cold call just in general, then it's a really good tool.
Can I ask you a quick question? Because I keep forgetting. What is a mere posting? Because there's one house on the way to dropping the kid off at school that's been like a FSBO forever. Mm-hmm. And I happened to come across it on, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And it's like, oh, this is just a mere posting, the seller and whatever the description. What is that?
It's just a brokerage will take your data input, stick it into the MLS, and then leaves you as the seller to do all the work. So, I mean, they'll connect you if you want with a photographer, that kind of stuff. I think depends. Like, there's a few different services that do it, but it's more or less like $500 to get on the MLS, and then the sellers do all the work.
Yeah.
So why would an agent do that compared to, let me just list your house normally?
Well, they just handle the paperwork. That's all it is. It's
just their business model, right? So it's more for them. It's more quantity over quality, right? They're not worried about. They just want the quick paycheck and move on to the next one.
They're just processing the paperwork. They don't care if you sell or not. You pay the flat fee up front, and then they get you on the MLS. And then it's like $500. You're on the MLS. Take your money. I don't care if you sell. If you do sell, we'll do the paperwork on the sales side, and maybe there's another fee for that. I don't know the exact business model, but it's chump change. and it just allows people on, but you're not getting any service or anything. It's
Yeah.
really pretty dangerous. Although if you go to a lawyer, I imagine you'd still have the ability to have your questions answered.
Yeah, it's a rough looking house. There's like a couple uninsured cars sitting in the driveway, and he's been updating his homemade signs. And I was like, I don't think I would want that listing because I don't think I could sell it because it's just that rough. And then when I saw it as a mere posting, I'm like, okay, I don't get it.
Yeah, we're not supposed to solicit mere postings. We have to treat them like they're listed with another brokerage, and they are.
Yeah.
But if you have a buyer, you kind of have to contact the seller and make some sort of relationship. So it's a funky spot.
Just keep an eye when they expire.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, you're working with, someone who's a jack of all trades, master of none, cuts their own hair, does their own, change their own oil. Well, I mean, okay, bad example for you. There will be, so you're going to get a commission objection, obviously. So you've got to be prepared that there's going to be challenges working with that type of person. But that's okay once you get them. And again, like getting your sign out there leads you to more pieces of business and opportunities to go prospect around it. So by all means, go after it, but just be prepared. Ooh. So just everyone, so in case you don't know, telelisting is this easy. We just draw a circle around, or a square, or whatever you want to do around. Let's just say,
I don't know if everyone saw Chris click on that little shape on the top left-hand side beside the hand. There's that little shaded in shape. And if you click that, you can draw
this right here will allow me to draw different, wherever I want to go, however big I want to be.
Yeah. So now Chris can draw any polygon shape.
Yeah.
And close the loop, and then
gather homes in this area, and then it'll show me all the numbers in that home.
And these are home phone numbers only. They don't have cell phone.
Yeah. So there's 148, but those are including do not calls. So you click on the DNCL. So hide those because I don't want to be calling people that are on that list. There's still 86. So there are 30% of these people will pick up, we'll say. 10 of them will be dead numbers. 10% will be, yeah. I mean, there's just like, here are leads waiting to be spoken to. These are people that have every opportunity that you need to start that relationship somewhere. And if you don't have a relationship, that's an easy way to go start one off. And you can just do that one day a week. So I like using like a Mojo or a Power Dialer, like Sales Dialer or something like that. So I just you just download the numbers out of here, which is quite easy. Oh, I close it. Quite easy. You stick them in there. You export them into Mojo or Sales Dialer. But there's a cost to those dialers. They're like $100, $150 a month, right? So if you're going to do this, you better be comfortable on the phone ahead of time. Maybe do a couple days of power dialing and then figure out if this is something you want to build your business on. But there's no reason you can't do it. And if I were to want to, plus my database by 50 people this week, I would just get on the phones, and anyone who's just looking to have new contacts, and then you just maybe do this for like 2-3 months, put 500 people into your database, and then you just follow up and follow up and follow up. They turn into business, and then you've literally created a business out of thin air just by doing this. And then the rest of your career, you don't really have to do this anymore. You could do it like, one power session a month just to kind of keep adding to your database. But if you're looking, if you don't have enough people to talk to right now, thanks, Nick. Good luck, bud. Talk to you soon. Thanks for sharing. This is a great way to just have extra people to talk to. And it's not rocket science. It's just put your head down, make some calls, and have some fun. And here's the scripts, real easy. We just sold the property in your neighborhood. Usually when one home sells, 2 or more will wind up selling right away. You see new signs pop up. So we know that there are buyers who missed out on the home we sold that are still looking for a home in your neighborhood. Have you ever given thought to making a move? Yes or no? Yes. Moving forward. No. Well, when's the last time you had your home evaluated? Great. last year, 10 years ago. Awesome. It is a pretty important asset. I'm sure you'd probably like to know what it is currently. When's a good time for us to get together? Weekends, weekdays, however you close that. But that's about it. So you can use it just listed if you have a listing or someone in your neighborhood, it's your farm that you want to work on. Or you can use it just sold if it's a KW agent that's sold in the area. You want to just go through Paragon and pull one of those out. Either of those work. So these are the two scripts. They're in the wiki site. So everybody ran through these, worked with them before? Everybody done a just listed call? Anyone not done a just listed call? Or just sold call? You don't have to use these on calls. You can go knocking too. I find the knocking is much more impactful, but it's the same script, right? You're obviously going to greet them a little bit differently at the door because you're looking at them versus on the phone. I don't ask how people are doing. This is the number one thing on the phone is that I think it was Zafe on Friday mentioned this. Like you need to be having a hook. You need to be on the point of the first 5 to 10 seconds of this call, or they're done. They're off, and that you can't get them back. So if you're mundane and you're not excited, this is a really hard way to start connecting with people. So you have to get your energy up. You have to be smiling. You have to be enthusiastic. You have to be passionate about what you're doing, because on the phone, it's way worse. Like you see people in video, well, they're really smiling in video. They really look like they're happy and they're smiling. And then you look at them in real life, like that person's an idiot. But on the video, you just look normal, right? You just look like you're a happy guy when you're smiling in video. It's quite calm. But if you're not really overdoing it, then people, they can sense it and they can't wait to get away from you. So you have to bring that passion, enthusiasm to the first 5 seconds of that call, or do something else. So practice that when you're role playing, you're scripting. The key, again, is don't ask how they're doing. Because between you and I, do you give a rip? Do they give a rip?
Not really.
Of course they don't. They don't know you. And if you did, like, either you're like the most compassionate person on the planet and you're like Mother Teresa who just cares for all, but it doesn't affect your life. If they had a bad day, their dog got ran over, you don't know them yet. So don't pretend like you want to hear about that. So don't ask how they're doing, and otherwise it's an out. Like, why do you care? You don't. So don't pretend. And then it really goes sideways into the call, I promise you. So, but at the door, you're like, hey, how's it going? And hopefully people are different in person usually, but on the phone, don't ask how they're doing, because it stops your script and then there's this out for them. So Hiroshi, hi there, it's Chris Ackerman from KW. Thanks for taking my call. Make this quick. I just wanted to let you know we're one of the first people to know we just listed a home in your neighborhood, just down the street here. And we have an open house on Saturday, 2 to 4.
An open house? Isn't this in the middle of the pandemic?
Well, it's actually showings by appointment only, thank God. So only people that are going to be pre-qualified and approved to buy it will be coming through working with the realtors. But it's always nice to let the neighbors know. Thanks for bringing that up. Good to keep everybody safe. Who do you know from work or your friends or family that mentioned they'd like to buy a home in our area?
Can't really think of anyone right now.
Great. Well, thanks for taking a minute to think about it. By the way, just out of curiosity, how long have you lived in the area?
About 10 years.
Nice. 10 years. Wow. And what attracted you to this home 10 years ago?
Oh, it's the neighborhood for sure, and it's in a good school catchment. Yeah, and it's a big house, and they don't make houses like this anymore.
Definitely. Yeah, amazing location. You guys lucked out, I'm sure of it. And yeah, quality build is hard to come by these days. So when you do move, where will you move to?
Oh, we're thinking about moving to the interior soon.
Oh, great. The interior, what takes you there?
Oh, just an easier lifestyle. You know, wine country. Some of our friends are moved there, and yeah, they love it.
Awesome. Yeah, be nice to slow down a bit. And when ideally would you like to be in the interior?
I don't know. Next year.
Nice. Yeah.
It's the future for sure.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it sounds like you guys have a great plan in place, and I'd love to stay in touch with you. And when it gets closer, maybe next year we can talk about going over what's happening in the market and showing you what your property's worth and kind of get a game plan together to make sure you guys get to Kelowna or wherever it is in the interior that allows you to do a nice smooth transition for the move and make sure as stress-free as possible. Would that be all right?
Well, we already have a realtor that's in touch with us.
That's all right. You know, it's a very important decision. I appreciate you got someone who's connecting with you, but I think it's always worth getting a second opinion to make sure you guys are getting the right pricing strategy, marketing plan, and make sure that it's a great fit for you. Would it be all right if I also threw my hat in the ring?
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't hurt, for sure.
Awesome. Well, why don't we do this? I'll touch base with you in a few months and see if times have changed or plans have moved forward or anything. And in the meantime, just may keep you up to date with what's going on. If there's any new sales in here like this one, I'll let you know what it sells for. Would you like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Great. What's your best email?
hkabota1@gmail.com.
Sweet. Thanks, man. All right. Well, I'll reach out to you and then I'll send him a handwritten note and say thanks for chatting with me today. And then I'll connect with him and it goes on my database. And do you have a cell number in case I find something really interesting that I can connect with? Whatever. Get his.
You just called it. You just called me.
All right. Your home phone it is. Yeah. So you'll probably never pick this one up again. So, but it's that easy, you guys. And this could be at the door. It could be anywhere, right? So I just want you guys to understand that conversation happens smoothly 80% of the time if you've just gotten comfortable with it. They don't always lay down quite that easily with at least at a second opinion opportunity there. But if they say no, they're not moving for 10 years, you don't know that's the case. Like, things happen. I still want them in my database, right? And it's still potential referrer if nothing else. So the snapshot is just, hey, most of your neighbors really like to stay on top of what's going on in the neighborhood. What I can do is I can draw a little circle around the map on Paragon and just once a month send you an updated version of what's sold, the actual sold prices, and some market stats to really help you keep on top of one of your largest assets. Would you be interested in seeing that? So just once a month, not spamming you, just giving you specific information about your home's value in this neighborhood. Can you see some value in that? Probably. Great. What's your email? Right? Gotcha. So
one of the little things that I've been saying to a few people when they're reaching out saying, hey, can you look up to see what this sold for? Or I call them the nosy neighbors, right? And then I put in there going, do you want to be the person that knows your neighborhood? Or do you want to be the one listening to your neighbor yapping about, hey, do you know what blah, blah, blah? And they're like, yeah, I'm tired of listening to him. I'd rather be the one that knows. I'm like, hey, give me your email. I'll set you up on the KW monthly snapshot neighborhood thing. And once they get that, they usually reply back and go, that thing's awesome. You put together all of this info, I'm like, I didn't do anything. I just sent you out a template from the KW thing. And they're like, I know more than my neighbor now.
Yeah.
And whether or not that turns into something for them, they still feel like you're the resource for the inside scoop.
So true. That Neighborhoods is a pretty slick. If you guys not played with it, as much as Command doesn't work in certain aspects, if you get what Neighborhoods can do, has everyone seen it? Is everyone using it? Okay, so when you're connecting with a new client, here, let's go here. All it is just you add them to Neighborhoods. Okay, so everyone can see my screen. Amin, you should probably be doing this. You're so much smoother with this stuff. I'm already rolling. So come on here, make it happen. So I'm going through adding my contact in the database in Command, and one of the drop downs here, as my computer slowly loads, is neighborhood, add a neighborhood, right? So you can go in Top Producer and buy this for $70 a month, which is called Snapshot, and it gives a nice pretty picture and gives like very similar data, and this is free to us. So again, use this, you get them into your database here. Holy cow. I think I got a few too many tabs open today, we'll just say.
I think just while this is loading, just one thing to keep in mind, like when you guys are sending it out, just keep in mind that sometimes the data that it spits out is not accurate at all. So just be prepared to conversate around that if you have to.
I haven't seen anything negative, but that's probably
like it happens sporadically. Like the one I sent in March sent the same exact stats for 2 neighborhoods, even though they're completely different. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just look here. I think I'm on a neighborhood. This one, we'll see. But okay, we'll just add another neighborhood then here. So find on map. I think I'm on Riverwood before, so I don't think it's. Oh, maybe it did work. So it should just show, as you can see here, those are the different neighborhoods, and then I will now. It's 2 different. Okay, good enough, I guess. We'll see. So that's it. We'll see. We'll see what I get. But it's very simple, and it is actually a very pretty once a month data that comes to them. And like David said, it's worth doing. So how long did that take? If you had internet that worked, I should already be done. But this typically slows down my computer so much. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and watch that spin. We'll move on. What time we got? 11 o'clock. So we'll get into breakout rooms, let you guys practice these scripts here. Here's the other one, just so you see it.
Between the two, the just sold script works way better for capturing leads because it's a success story.
Yeah, so actually we'll run through the just sold one too, just for what it's worth. So, and then we'll get you guys in a breakout, and we'll come help out. So it says go 3 deep for motivation here. And so what 3 deep means is with any question, if I go 3 deep, I'm really getting to the core of, like, if you consider like an onion, you're just kind of peeling away layers until you actually get to the real reason for their answer or motivation. And so I'll go through the first part of it and I'll kind of pause into it. So hey, it's Chris Ackerman from KW. Thanks for taking my call. We just sold a property in your neighborhood, and usually when one home sells, 2 or more wind up selling right away. And we know that there are buyers who missed out on this home that we sold. They're still looking to move into your neighborhood. Have you ever given a thought to making a move?
No, not really.
Okay, wonderful. You know, amazing neighborhood, and I'm sure you guys have your reasons for staying, but what is important about this neighborhood for you guys?
I don't know. I like the community, I suppose. Yeah, our folks live close by, and yeah, it's definitely a good neighborhood.
Makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely a lot to offer, and I can see why it means a lot to you guys. And so if you had to find another house in this neighborhood, what would that do for you? This isn't actually how I want to do this. Never mind. I'm going down the wrong path here. Let's. He says yes for moving because you said no. I'm just going to move on.
Okay. So have you ever given thought to making a move? Yes, we're definitely moving in 3.5 months.
3.5 months. Awesome. What's important about the 3.5 months to you?
Well, yeah, we definitely want to move to Burnaby in 3.5 months.
Okay, cool. Burnaby. And what's important about Burnaby to you?
Well, my parents live there. They're probably going to need a little bit more help, so we want to move closer to them. And right now we're in Maple Ridge, so we've had to drive there so much recently. Yeah, and it's a good time to downsize too. It's too much house for us.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of time on the road, and seems like it'd be closer to what's important to you guys. So if you had a home in Burnaby that saved you time on the driving, what would that do for you?
Not much less time spending cleaning the house and driving out there. It's almost an hour each way. So it's I guess we'll get more free time and yeah.
Good. Okay, so you get some time back and this less stress of driving out there. It makes a lot of sense. But when you have that time back, ultimately, what will that mean for you and your family?
I can spend it with them. Maybe I can work on side projects and do more hobbies, pick up some more hobbies too. Go fishing.
Cool. Nice. Sounds like getting to Burnaby means you're going to have more time with the family, get to go fishing. Like, why aren't you already there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess we haven't talked to a realtor yet.
Ching ching. Anyway, so I'll pause real quick, and so that's where you just figure this out, and this is where you really need to script this to understand how the about, do, and mean work for any conversation ever. Because most people don't get into the depth of this, right? It's a very superficial first answer. And if you don't continue to peel away at it to actually get to the reason, the motivation, why they're doing something, like this works with your kids. This works with any conversation ever. It's not just about real estate or sales. It's just like trying to actually understand the psychology of why someone is speaking and getting to really understand their motivation for our business is key. And then you've helped them self-actualize why they're moving to Burnaby to help their parents and get to go fishing or whatever that is. You just are theirs for life. Like they look to you as the person that helped them discover fishing and giving them time back in their day to spend more time with their family. And that's a very amazing moment where you guys get to be part of that conversation. So it is really cool in person when it happens, because they're like, wow, I'm gonna get to walk my kids to school. We're gonna be able to spend more time, less commuting or doing more things like with my family or whatever. Those things that come out of this line of questioning is incredible sometimes. And if you keep pushing, you go another one or two deep, you're getting tears. You're getting like people breaking down. And like we used to do this in the financial industry, and like you want to make a big sale, you get them crying, right? Like I'm not saying this is where you want it to go, but if I push really hard on someone on a sensitive subject around, a dad not getting to see his kids because he's working too many hours or something like that, you're going to have breakdowns, which are breakthroughs, because that means that they then get to go and make change in their life, that, take back their time or whatever that looks like. It's amazing. So take this seriously when you're scripting. Like this is a real good opportunity to get to know people, but it also will be one of the best tools you'll ever use. It comes from Joel Rico. He's language of sales. He does neurolinguistic programming. It's like this guy is a ninja with scripts and language. And if you ever want to just watch some of his stuff on YouTube or anything like that, you'll just be blown away at how well he controls a conversation, but just asking incredible questions. So that's what this really comes down to, is an art of conversation. So
the three questions are right at the top too. It's like, what's important about X? Okay. And then if you had Y, what would that do for you? And really you want to get to this last question when you want to say, ultimately, what would that mean for you and your family? And that's really going to set yourself apart from other agents who, if I tell them, oh, I want to move to Burnaby, they're just going to skip right over what it really means for that person. And they're going to say, oh, yeah, let's get you to Burnaby. Okay, we can sell your place for $2 million and buy something over there for $2 million, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Yeah, it's transactional. Yeah.
It's transactional, exactly. So, once you go 3 deep, you start peeling the onion, you get their story, why it's important. Perhaps, they want a house with a big yard for whatever reason, and you can help them with that. You can also use their motivation in the future to say, yeah, remember when we had that conversation, you said this is important to you. This checks 9 out of 10 boxes. I don't know if we could find another property that's going to do that for you.
Yeah. Like writing an offer on this tonight gets you fishing by August, and that's what you wanted to do, right? So this is where those tools come up later and help you negotiate, help you close deals more, again, help you connect with them in more meaningful ways. So thoughts, ahas on that? Anyone ever used this type of stuff before? This is high level language of sales stuff. If you practice it to the point where if you can just nail these 3 questions, every script gets easier. Everything becomes just about them, right? That's what people want to know, is that you care about them. As soon as you've got that, you're not telling them how many homes you've sold or what kind of commission you're structured or your shiny marketing. It's about them. And then there's no pushback because they know you care. It's amazing. So we go through the rest of this into, when's the last time you had your home evaluated? Are you aware of what your home's worth in market today? So in order for me to plan proper numbers, that you can read this stuff as you wish. I'm not going to go through the important stuff, but if they're saying no, then, I haven't had my home evaluated in a while. Well, when's a good time for me to come by? Would blank or blank be better to show you what the homes are selling for in your neighborhood? However you guys want to articulate that. That language is yours. You fix and use that. That's just a basics, and you guys know how to say that at this point, I'm sure. And if they say yes, wonderful. I'm glad to hear you're keeping on top of the market. I'd still like to offer a second opinion before they do decide to move, or maybe just giving them some more information about what's happening in the market. And if they're not going right away, well, it is a great time to prepare your home so that when you do decide to sell, I can come by and give you some advice on best returns of investment. And this is a real hook. People love to hear that you have insider knowledge on what they should do for the renovations. So get in the door, go over there and meet them. It's okay if they're not selling right away. Still go over there and have the conversation and say, hey, you know what? I mean, same thing, lipstick, right? Paint, floors, touch-ups. Don't put a $100,000 kitchen reno in if you're planning to sell in the next year or so, because you're not getting that money back. But you do want to do the basic stuff, landscaping, curb appeal, decluttering, all that kind of stuff. So I think everyone knows the concepts there, but the public, even though they watch HGTV, they think that you guys wear this like super hat that allows them to have information that you have information they don't have. But you go over there anyway, and you build rapport, and you walk through and give some advice, and you walk through as a professional, and they really appreciate it. So it's just a good way to get your foot in the door. So it's more questions to kind of keep the conversation flowing around, just out of curiosity, how long you live in the area. It's the same idea. You guys have run through this stuff before, but when you do move, where do you want to go through deep. So just this is everything in your world, right? That if you guys can nail that, everything else in this conversation, and then the last question, just the hook on the snapshot again. Okay. So any questions?
Yeah, that one last question is just to get them in your database. If they're not moving, they're going to stay in this same area. You keep getting no's, then that's kind of the last-ditch effort to get their contact to add them to your database.
Yeah, if you get someone talking and they're willing to share half the above conversation with you, to then not get their contact info and permission to stay in touch, and it's just like, I'll send you once a month, not spam, but I'd love to, if you want to invite them out to client events or all that kind of stuff, like just get them into your world, and then it's on you to just build that relationship from there through adding value. But having this 5-minute conversation, 2 minutes, and not getting their contact info is just spinning your wheels, right? Mm-hmm. So make that point, get them in there, stay in touch.
And that first paragraph, hey, we just sold a property in your neighborhood. Like, get really good at that one paragraph. If you have to write it over and over, memorize it. We just sold a property in the neighborhood, and usually when one home sells, 2 or more homes will sell right away. Because that's your first impression, right, to the prospect.
Yeah, and so there's buyers who missed out on the home that are still looking for a home in your neighborhood. Have you thought about moving? Like, getting excited about that, the energy. Like, if you read it robotically, they're hearing a robot, right? Yeah. So now, role playing, well, you are mirroring and matching. This is what it comes down to, right? So when you guys really practice your scripts and you understand who you're speaking to in the other line, you know what you want to say. How are you going to say it to that individual person, right? If I'm talking to Hiroshi and Hiroshi's talking at this tone and we're on the same level, volume, tonality, rate of speech, right? I'm going to talk like that to Hiroshi because that's how he appreciates being spoken to. We speak the same dialogue that way. I'm talking to David. David's a little more upbeat. He's a little faster speaking, and he's a little more emotion involved in his ups and downs in his language and how he speaks. So I'm going to talk more like that with David. It's subtle, but it matters. David connects better. Oh, look, he even turned his head when I did say his name. But the point being, they want to hear their name said. They want to hear that you are speaking on their map. You get paid very well to speak to people in their language. So learn how to mirror and match with the tonality, rate of speech, volume. When they pick up the phone, the first word out of their mouth is hello. You're hello, right? If they say hello and you go, hi, you're already out of friggin' rapport, right? So just when you have your best friend call you, what do they say when you pick up the phone? Hey, buddy, what's up, dipshit? What's up, man? Whatever, right? Whatever it is, that's how people that connect with people will answer their phone. So if they say, hi, you're hi, it's Chris Ackerman, right? And it sounds weird until you realize that if you do the opposite, they're like, who's this? And you know it because when someone calls you and they do the opposite, you're already suspect, right? So practice.
I'll just throw in another good thing. If people are not super comfortable being uncomfortable, the next time you go to Starbucks, the bank, Home Depot, and when you go up to the till to pay for whatever it is, rather than, hi there, yeah, transaction, and you walk away, try and strike up just a random conversation with, oh, wow, you guys are pretty busy today or whatever. And if you can get some type of dialogue going with a perfect stranger, maybe you're going to make their day. Maybe they think you actually care about them. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you can actually strike up a thing, in Home Depot the other day, I was buying stuff with the wife. My mask has logo on it, says David Seller Real Estate. And the lady, the cashier at Home Depot, she goes, are you helping a client get ready for a house? And I was like, oh, I go, you would not believe how much help. And I just broke into just random whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, the market. And we had this conversation and the wife's already halfway into the parking lot doing the whatever. But obviously I talk a lot and it's easy for me to conversation with people. And she goes, did you know her? And I go, no, but it's just part of the flow to have conversations because you never know where your next business is coming from.
So true. Yeah. And some people that's easy. For you, you're like natural at it. It's just,
I don't shut up. I know, right? But for those people that you might go, well, it doesn't come that easy for me. You can learn that. And you can learn it based on people that are at Starbucks or the grocery store.
Definitely. It is a learned skill. And that's why we practice this stuff. And you guys are in a safe environment here to just say it naturally and then work on it until you go and practice on the public, or sorry, perform on the public. So you practice in here, right? So yeah, just learning what needs to be said. You guys will be, thanks, Dan. Appreciate your time, man. Yeah, go ahead. We're going to put you guys in a breakout group so you guys can jump through this for a bit. Everyone just run through it once. We'll come in and help and guide it. If there's 3 people in a group, just have one person moderate and just kind of give feedback and hopefully constructive feedback. And yeah, watch your ums, as I say an
Yeah. So you're going to be put in a breakout room of 2 or 3 people, and you're going to practice the just listed or just sold script?
Do the just sold script.
Just sold script. Okay.
Sold script.
I think they need the link to it.
Yeah, I'll here. Hang on. Oh shit. I'm cancel. Hang on. Let me out of here, Amin. Here's it. We're